there, Susie?
Brain Candy 674. How the heck are you, Sarah?
I am doing wonderful. I just had my friend Ashley, shout out to Ashley, stay at my house, and it was like such a treat to have
Why?
some. You know,
Why did you have someone? Why did you have a guest?
She's looking for a place to stay in Denver, and I think she's going to take over my lease and move into my house after my lease is up, so I can.
So she wanted to do a test run and see if it was haunted or anything.
Totally, yes. That's a great way to put it. I'm going to say that. Like, yeah, she needed to do a test. You think my landlord will think I'm kooky crazy if I do that?
Well, because maybe you got to check the vibe, you know?
Got to check the vibe. Eli says he has a ghost in his house. Have
you spotted it?
There was one night that it was really interesting because he just started his own company and he's looking for logo designs. And so we were going through one of those like logo design contests, like entries, like all the people who had entered in the contest and like looking at which logos we like the best. I know that, and I was there when like all of the logos were, you know, came up on the screen, and when we saw them, I know that we didn't touch the screen. But then when we turned the computer off, or when the computer went to sleep, you could see circles like drawn around where like the logos were. And I was like, oh my gosh, those were the two that we said we liked. Did you draw those circles on there? And Eli was like, nope, I never touched screen. I was like, I didn't either. And he goes, it's the ghost. I was like, what? And then
it's like a useful ghost too.
Yeah, that's what I say. And that's what Eli said. He goes, don't worry, the ghost's very friendly and he really likes Jews.
That's great.
Yeah. He said he likes people who are Jewish. So it's a friendly ghost. Very friendly
fantastic.
ghost. And, you know, maybe like part of the tribe. So.
Wow. Okay. Well, when you move in, are you going to try to get rid of the ghost then?
No. Are you kidding me?
Well,
a welcoming ghost like that?
All right.
Who just is giving us good advice on which logo will be best?
Oh, so you know how like, you burn sage and all that stuff or whatever you do the potions?
Yeah.
Well, so like if, let's say you do one of those potions for to get rid of the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Does the good ones know like you don't mean them or what?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I would look that up, Sarah, in the book of spells.
Yeah, maybe I should. That's funny.
Because what if you accidentally get rid of the good ghost, too? Casper.
Well, the good vibes will still stick around, I think.
Okay. That's
I feel like that's more like, you know, isn't that the whole thing with sage? It's like white smoke, so it gets rid of dark energy.
Okay, well, good.
I think that's
you guys have already worked all this out. I just made this up.
I mean,
it was
maybe.
very convincing.
Didn't it sound good?
Yeah,
As do most woo-woo things that,
Yeah, if you say enough specific details, it's like, well, this must be true.
Yeah, well, that sounds definitely like what the ancestors would say. Yep, run with it. Yep.
The ancestors. All right. Well, let's kick things off because I have to say thank you so much to whichever Brainiac it was, and I wish I could remember, who recommended that I watch the documentary called Strange Names. It is so good. Did you watch it?
Well, I watched it years ago.
I don't know why you're not talking about it more because it's so good.
I feel like we have talked about names on here, and I've brought this up because Huey, Dewey, and Louie. There's the
Donald Ducks
brothers and the Donald Ducks. And
there was no Huey, Dewey, and Louie on this one. There was just 3 Donald Ducks that were senior, junior, and the third.
And was there a man who was, he had a name that was like Handsome or something like that? Studley. Yeah, I've definitely seen this. Yeah. So look at how it came up with Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and really it was just 3 Donald Ducks. Isn't it great what the brain will do? And that's why maybe it's good to revisit some material.
Documentary, like in your brain, sounds even better. But Strange Names, it's on Tubi for free. It's on Amazon Prime for like $3 or something. But, okay. You guys know my theory about last names and how it informs who you are or like predicts who you are or whatever. Well, I mean, first of all, they start with like a lot of silly ones, you know, like Putz and Schmuck and ones that are like, they're harmless, but like I'm sure they got teased, but like they're okay.
Yeah.
Those are fun. And then like Slutsky, Linda Slutsky, that was funny. Yeah. And there
was a Jack Meehan, but then there was like it went growing up in my class, and then I feel
Jack
like it was
Meehan.
Yes,
that's
And then I feel like we changed it, or there either was a kid with this last name, or we just called him this. We called it Mehoff instead of Meehan.
Oh,
We could have done
way.
that, or right?
Yeah.
We're like, unfortunate.
Well,
I think he may be passed away too.
Oh,
so,
great.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, she said. The Studley one in particular was interesting because that person sort of spoke to my theory, which is that because his last name was Studley, he felt this sort of obligation to deliver on that promise. And so he worked out all the time and really tried to take good care of himself and like dress nice, and how like, you know, that can really prop you up maybe more than if your name were Schmuck or Putz.
For sure.
Yeah.
Or people naturally, like if you're going to, you know, you're looking through a list of last names, that one stands out, and it stands out with a positive connotation in our mind. So you're going to rank it. Your mind's naturally going to put that person in the same line as they would if you were to rank characteristics, Studley or Putz.
Yeah, right. So it does sort
it.
of, you know, it can be a good thing, but most of the names are difficulties because, you know, they're sort of silly for one reason or another. And do you remember Barb Dwyer? Like, they're so
I love names like that. I mean, one of my favorite parts of The Simpsons, like the little bit they did, was when Bart Simpson would call Moe's Tavern and says, "I'm looking for
Bend
Mr.
over
Butts."
or
Seymour Butts. Is there Seymour Butts? And I just love it. It's so, I'll never forget. It's always my go-to, Seymour Butts.
I mean, it's
I don't know
so
for what.
silly. Yeah, like Amanda Hug and Kiss. You know, that's not even like a thing. Although there was a guy in the film named something Go to Bed. His last name was Go to Bed. And he said, everyone would say, like, do you really pronounce it like that? Like you say to your kids, like, go to bed? And he's like, yep, just like that. But then it took a more introspective turn because do you remember there was a man named Richard Gay, and he grew up in the 70s and 80s when it was really not a great thing to be gay, and that he felt like he needed to compensate and become very manly, and then he became an alcoholic because he was like partying and trying to be like Mr. Cool or whatever, which you could totally see how that would happen.
Yeah.
Dick Gay?
That was his name?
Well, Richard, Dick.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh, that's very tough.
Double whammy.
I get that. Because, you know, our names, one of my favorite stories or articles or something that you shared on here was about the value of names and how it's the only thing that you can like assign to give to somebody that like has a value, but it doesn't cost anything, but it affects so much. And there is almost like a class system of names in a way.
Absolutely.
Too, you know? And I thought it was so fascinating. So I think there's so much linked to identity and names. And even in my mind, when I was thinking like, why doesn't that guy just change his name to like, you can tell people your name is pronounced however the fuck you want, you know, like, you know, so why doesn't somebody just change the pronunciation? But if there's some part of your identity and your family and your history that's in that specific pronunciation, I can understand why somebody wouldn't want to change it.
And there was one gal in there whose name was pronounced Cockburn, but it's spelled Cockburn. And so it really didn't even matter that it was pronounced Cockburn because I'm sorry, if your name is Cockburn, I mean, and there was a Cobbledick. I mean, there's some really terrible or difficult names that exist that you just don't think about. Then, didn't you think it was interesting how they had this scholar on that studies names, and she was saying like, you know, when you hear some of these names where it's like, clearly the parent knew and named them that anyway. Yes. And she said, in their mind, we all think, like, how could you do that to your kid? In their mind, they think, how could I not? Like, this is so unique, or it's unique and interesting. And like that guy whose last name was Burr, and she named him Tim. And when she'd call him back home for dinner, she'd be like, Tim Burr, come on.
Come on. No, nobody likes a pun that much.
Even Sarah.
Not even me.
And
Not,
she
you
said,
know, everything's fun unless it's at the expense of somebody else or like somebody else getting, that sounds like somebody's, it's like, you know, the Boy Named Sue is a great song, but we don't need to like play it
Test
out.
it.
And
Yeah.
It feels like that.
I feel like the only thing that you love more than puns is dadgrass.
Absolutely. Yes. I probably like the puns more after the dadgrass.
Yeah,
At least I will be chilled out enough to not give a fuck if they're bad.
Remember what I texted you the other day when I was high?
Oh my God. It was so great.
Honestly, I don't know if I've ever laughed that hard in my life. I could not stop laughing. It was great. Anyway, Dadgrass can provide these sort of hilarious moments for you and your loved ones this holiday season. They have joints. They have tinctures. They have... do they have gummies? I bet they don't, but they should. Get some gummies.
I think they do.
Do they have gummies now? They do! Nighttime gummies! Oh my God!
Yeah, they do. Come on now.
Oh my God.
I'd say they're not sleeping on the job, but...
I have got to
Might be
get some
better.
of these. This sounds great.
Yeah.
But Dadgrass is wonderful because it's not that crazy, like, paranoid weirdness that you can get.
Definitely not. The opposite.
The opposite. Chilled
Yeah.
out.
And it's just so people do know, CBD is that I don't know, secret ingredient that, or compound we'll call it, that balances out the anxiety, anything that's like, you know, if you're like smoking the other kind of weed stuff, smoking the other kind of grass, it gives you all that. None of that stuff is not in there.
It's got
That
very,
stuff works
very
to
little
balance out
THC
the
in it.
good stuff and like make you not anxious and make you chill and relax.
It relaxes your body, mellows your mind, clears your head without getting cuckoo crazy. I don't know what's not. I cannot believe I'm looking at this and it says CBD gummies in flavors like classic blackberry ginger, good time hibiscus lime, and nighttime midnight berry. Right when I said, do they have gummies? I had no idea. I'm going to get some. All Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 18 and over, and it ships right to your door anywhere in the U.S. Right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/braincandy. Go to dadgrass.com/braincandy for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/braincandy. Can someone say stocking stuffer? Hello. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I also liked at the end of the film how many of them said, you know, like having an unusual name provided a window into like empathy. And like Richard Gay, he said he's not gay, but he now has extreme compassion for people who get made fun of for being gay because he got like a taste of it just because of his darn name.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder is he somebody who has children?
Yeah, he has 3 girls.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm sure that he was able to teach that to his kids too about how, like, if somebody can't change something about themselves, be it their name or their sexual orientation or whatever.
Anything that you can't change. Who cares?
Don't make fun. Yeah. We all do it sometimes, but it's a good reminder, like, hey, cool it. Like, be kind.
Yeah.
Be kind, you jagoffs. And I did... Go ahead, sorry.
I was listening to an older English man who was in, I think, Harry Potter. Yeah. But maybe not that one. There's another guy who's very similar to him that I confuse him with. I think it could be Ian McKellen. Or somebody who looks English guy. Just like him. But he was talking about how when he gets home to Manchester and he gets in the taxi and the man who's driving, and, you know, he said sometimes a woman, but usually it's a man, will say, "Where you going, love?" And he said, how love is such a great word to use. You don't need a pronoun. You don't need a gender. Love, and he said it's so great at where I live that a grown man can say, "Where you going, love?" to another grown man, and that's just how we communicate. And if the world had more of that, and I just loved that.
I love that too.
Right?
Yeah, because it just sneaks in, and it doesn't feel like a big thing.
Right.
And it probably informs how you behave. I bet it does.
Because how could you be mean to somebody who just said, "Where are you going, love?" You can't be an asshole to that person.
No. Let's do that more.
I know. I'm going to say that to you in text messages now. And we're like,
Okay.
Hey, love.
Yeah, we'll be loves.
Yeah.
I read an article in The Cut about like baby names and like why we make fun of certain names, like how I do with the Jaden, Braden, Caden thing.
Yeah.
And it was like theorizing what it is that like we're mocking, with all the like white people names where they try to be real inventive,
Yes.
like McKinsley, Kenla, whatever.
Yes.
They invent
Yes.
sort of combinations of syllables. In your opinion, do you see that as like a class thing or like, I think they were trying to argue it's a class thing.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what do you
Yeah. And it's the
perceive?
same way it you know what? It might fall into that Schadenfreude same kind of thing.
Why?
Where we're making fun of it because it's those people who like to put it on display and they definitely
It's
have
like
the
cringy.
name written like in some Cricut machine like custom baby wall sign. I can make this joke because I have a Cricut machine.
I know, right?
That's why. That's
yeah,
why.
I know you do.
Yeah, so it's like that. It's like you can see the baby name written in that very specific font. The same one for I was gonna say Eat, Pray, Love, but Live,
It's
Laugh, Love.
Totally.
Written
That
upon,
script.
yeah, that script. I can already see the baby room has one wallpapered wall with that script on it. With like the little sheepskin rug on the floor.
So it's like because
yes,
that white mom and white family is like a stereotype.
Yes.
Of like a moment, like social media bullshit.
Yeah, like a basic
B.
A basic B.
Okay. I too think that it's like there's a sense of we all like to feel special, right? Like we all like to hear our own name and like that's sort of the human thing. Mm-hmm. But like we try to hide it a little that we're sort of self-involved as people. But these people seem absolutely fine being like, my kid's special.
Well, it's like I would imagine, okay, I was listening to something on NPR a long time ago that talked about, and stick with me, this was on NPR, that when child labor laws came into effect.
I read this. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. I'm like, people are going to be like, you hate children. No, I don't. I'm like, not saying this.
Also that.
Or like, yeah, okay. I don't have one of those, so I can't say that. It's not like the Cricut machine.
No, but I'm saying for myself. I kind of do.
So when child labor laws came into effect, children became, in a way, not as useful. They didn't serve as a purpose. So what do we do with something that doesn't really serve? We've done the same thing with dogs. We create we give them more importance or attention on
individual identity.
Yeah, and how we care for them instead of their worth kind of being in them. It's like we project onto them, and and it's the same as like.
It's like an ornament in your family because it no longer could produce revenue.
Right. So it's like now we have to make these things really important and like oh my everything
Sacred.
Moment is a treasure. Yes, because if not, we're gonna be like, what the fuck is the point of all this? So we've kind of done that naturally as a society too, because our brain does this. So that is probably
the greatest
a little bit.
Trick the devil ever pulled was trying to convince moms that they should enjoy every moment of motherhood. Because let me tell you, that is chasing the wind. Because a lot of it's drudgery and a lot of it's real boring. So this idea that you like savor every moment, it goes so fast. Fuck you, Karen. I'm sick of it.
I would agree with same thing with being a person.
Yes.
We have there are so many times where like people will come to me, friends, clients, etc., and say, I want to be happier. Or I just want to be happy. Not even happier, I just want to be happy. And it's like, well, like all the time? Because let's get real specific.
I got some bad news.
Yeah, can't be happy. Like there are sometimes and where it would kind of be weird and inappropriate. So let's really kind of give your mind a realistic expectation of what it wants. Do you want to enjoy the good moments, be present and aware and enjoy the good moments when you have them in a way that is more meaningful so that you can ride the wave of the shitty times to the next good moment? Because most of life is not like a 10 or even an 8 or even a 7 or even 6. Most of it's like a 3, 4, 5 brushing your teeth.
Well, and a lot of what...
Maybe like a 4, 5, 6 if you're lucky.
A lot of the sort of sense that we ought to feel that kind of happiness comes from fucking advertisements.
Yes!
They're trying to get you to buy something.
Absolutely. You will be happier if you have this car, if you have this, if your fucking perfect tint, like, I don't know, makeup, that whatever it is. Like, you will... but it's not.
They invent this problem that you didn't know you had, which is that you aren't happy enough. But good news, they have the solution, and it costs $9.99.
Right. And people could be like, oh, but some of those things do make me happy. When you believe that, yes, this makes me happier, and then you are satisfied. But if you can just stop it there, happy. But that's kind of not how we are. It's like more, and that's what advertisers do, and you know,
we're on to you.
More, you know,
we're on to you. Capitalism, Which Sarah's going to talk about that. I think next episode you've had an epiphany about consumerism and stuff.
I have.
So to be continued about that. Yeah. Ooh, that reminds me, we should read a review.
Oh, I love reading reviews.
Have you heard the jingle that I sing now before this segment?
Oh, no. I love it when you add a jingle, too.
Like, Adam and I just have so much fun doing this shit, so it's really just for us. But, like, when I hear it in the episode, it cracks me up. It's real catchy, though. It'll get in your head. Yes.
It's a time of the show where we stop and read a review. Could be good, could be bad. It could be the best one that we've ever had.
Okay. How about this one? My best friends who have no idea, and then it kind of cuts off. So it's like, I can't read the full title. Maybe on my PC or my computer I would. But like, I hope it's good. 5 stars. This is from Sav Fow. Thank you for giving me a break a couple times a week and sometimes a weird therapeutic check-in with myself that, let's be honest, everyone needs. My actual best friend and I listen and discuss episodes and have for years. I initially felt connected because Susie's love of the Beatles, appreciation of radio and outdated pop culture, and of course, outdated pop culture. And of course, her enthusiasm. What sealed the deal will keep me faithful forever is that Sarah makes me feel not alone, being a neurodivergent woman who loves overalls, following rules, and impressing men with things I don't have to ask for help with. Please never stop.
I am literally wearing overalls right now. That is so funny.
That is awesome.
I am wearing overalls. This is the best.
Wow.
Oh, I love this segment. And overalls. And that review.
Thank you for all the reviews. You guys have no idea how much we love them. And it means so much. What a treat.
Does.
Wow.
That pulls on my little neurodivergent heartstrings.
Okay. Well, let's talk about... Okay. Have I mentioned that this show is sponsored by BetterHelp?
I hope, and if nobody's heard it, we'll mention it again.
We're mentioning it now because BetterHelp is online therapy that can maybe get you through whatever you're having to deal with right now, be it the holidays and all the family stuff, or stress, end of year stuff. Ooh, entering a new year, you could get like some guidance about what you want this year to look like. I love that.
Anyway, do
Anyway,
some reflection over the past year. It's really good.
Are people doing that? Do you notice? Like, is this the time people take stock?
Yeah, I mean, I think we naturally do.
Yeah.
And sometimes having not sometimes, all the time, it's better to have a therapist there to help kind of like, because there's a difference between setting resolutions and setting goals.
Yeah.
And work and knowing the intention of why and kind of understanding how this is going to help your like big like self story and your life in the future. And so BetterHelp has therapists there that, you know, you can get matched with for like exactly what you need. You want somebody who's, you know, LGBTQIA plus aware and knows about working with that population, they got it. You want somebody who's religious based, they got it. You want somebody who's the opposite of that, they got it. So it's really great. And if you don't click with your therapist, you can switch.
Yeah. And as the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/braincandy. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/braincandy. Okay, so should we talk about the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary?
Yes.
Should we do that? Okay.
Yes.
Well,
I knew you watched this.
I watched the first 3 because they're coming out with the next 3 this week.
Oh, yes.
So it's like split in half. And as you might recall, I am very into Harry and Meghan. I've always supported them and like loved them. And she's so pretty and stylish and stuff. So I've enjoyed watching her and her fashion and all that. And they, you know, were part of the production that made this. So it's not like they didn't have a hand in it. Mm-hmm. But so that's why I was surprised that like I came away liking them like kind of like less. You know?
Okay. Really?
A little bit. Like I'm still totally on their side. They're 100% right that the monarchy is so fucked up and antiquated and ridiculous. I 100% get why they were like, let's hit the road. But, like, they're just so in love with themselves and this love story that it's just like, we get it.
Yeah.
You love each other and you beat the odds and you go to the end of the earth for each other. Shut up about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think maybe that's kind of why I've avoided. Like, I feel like I can sense that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I get it. You're going to be in the public eye no matter what. So it's better to control your narrative. And we're like, and people who are like, I would be the same. You're there. It comes with the territory. How can you not when you are like the prince and princess? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I do get it. But like, and he can do whatever he wants. That man has lived through hell. And he can be super psyched about this as much as he wants. I would never hold it against him. But for Meghan, I'm just like, Meg. Because here's my impression. She's right about it all, that the monarchy is insane. And that you have to do all this insane stuff that they all act like is normal and
totally
whatever.
Yeah.
But she kind of waltzed in and was like, hey, we should change all this. This is dumb. And it's like, this is a 1,000-year-old institution. Yes, it's rooted in white supremacy. Yeah. Yes, it's like classist and all of this terrible thing. But like, you can't just waltz in and be like, redo.
Yeah.
Which
I think that kind of goes to is with any family.
Very good point.
Because could you imagine if I went into, Thanksgiving and was like, no, we're going to do the stuffing this way this year. No way. I'd be like, there's the door. Get out of here.
Yes, that is such a good point. This is just on a bigger scale.
Eli's mom, if you're listening, I would never, ever, ever change anything about the stuffing. It's perfect in every way.
Right. But like, I see what you're saying.
All of that food was delicious. Dang, now I'm hungry.
You could walk in and be like, this is not working. Let's redo everything.
Right.
But
that would be
not going to be well received.
Yeah.
Especially if you are in a monarchy that has existed for whatever. And freaking Elizabeth was 70 fucking years in that thing as the queen.
Yeah. I do think how the British tabloids respond is always like, oh, for fuck's sake, you guys are so awful.
Yeah, and they were the villain of these 3.
Yes.
So that's for sure. They weren't really that critical of the family in the first 3. I anticipate that's coming next. But the villain in these first three was the media, especially the UK press. It's sick over there, man. Woo!
Yeah. It really, the Daily Mail, I think it is that the one where you can go like side by side, how they talk about, Kate Middleton and how they talk about Meghan. It's like so.
It's like they would do the
gross.
Same thing, but it was framed completely different for
Totally
Kate versus
the opposite.
Meghan.
Like eating avocados. There was one.
Right.
When she like had a baby. It was like, does she even understand the
there's a drought or
plight
something.
of the avocado farmer or something crazy like that? And Kate Middleton was like, oh, look at how she's giving her baby the good
nutrients.
Fats.
Yeah, good fats.
I know,
so it's. I'm still rooting for them. I think they're adorable, and they sure as heck seem like they're in love.
Yeah.
But
does he explain? I can't get over the SS uniform, the Nazi uniform.
He did talk about that.
What did he say?
I mean, he sort of said it was just like a terrible mistake, and that he was sort of ignorant about its like how terribly it would be seen. And he's certainly done a lot to educate himself and become like anti-racist and all of that. But
do you think it was
a doozy.
for shock value that he did this to ruffle feathers and to just be kind of rebellious? And in a way, he continues to kind of like be a little rebellious.
Yeah, he's naughty. I've always thought that.
Yeah.
He has a twinkle in his eye, which is adorable. But in that age, when you're sort of rebelling against all sorts of things, boy, he was thumbing his nose, I think, at a lot of things. He was sad because his mom's dead. And you know that story when that car crash happened, those paparazzi that were chasing them, they continued to take pictures of her dead body when they could have helped her. She was still alive at that or I said dead body, but her dying body. They could have helped her and instead took pictures. I mean, that's something you really probably never get over as a son.
No, that's so sad. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. Just like I said, there aren't excuses, but we understand why people do things.
Yeah, so he's come a long way, and at least he's saying, boy, that was a big mistake, and I felt terribly, and I tried to make it right. Yeah, that's all you can ask of somebody.
Yeah. Oof, bad choice.
Bad choice. Anyway, so that's that. Well, I'll tell you what's a good choice, and that is checking out Everlywell. We talked about them a million times, but if you're living under a rock and you don't know about it, Everlywell provides at-home lab tests. So like Sarah and I, we took the food sensitivity test. And Sarah basically found out she's sensitive to all the foods she thought, she loves. So then she was like eating them constantly. Not a great idea. And so now she can make better choices, and so can I. They also have a women's health test, a men's health test. They have like celiac disease screening test, just a million options. And you just take it at home, send it off. In a couple days, you get your results, and then you feel empowered. You know more about your body, and it will help you make better choices for it. Perfect idea for like the coming new year. I know you guys are going to prioritize health just like I am. This is an easy way to kind of kickstart that, and it would make a great stocking stuffer to put one of these babies in the stocking, and then your family can enjoy the benefits as well. The gift of health has never been so easy to share than it is this holiday. For listeners of the show, Everlywell is offering a discount of 20% off an at-home lab test at everlywell.com/braincandy. That's everlywell.com/braincandy for 20% off your next at-home lab test. everlywell.com/braincandy. Let's talk about, there was this scandal that was funny to me. Have you heard of the Liver King?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I hadn't heard of the Liver King until I heard of people's responses to what happened.
What were they? What did they
with
say?
This whole thing?
Well, let's say what it is. So the Liver King is this bodybuilder guy who claimed that his incredible physique, which looked like Jason Momoa times a million, like in terms of like musculature.
With Carrot Top, maybe.
Well, yeah, not hot. I'm saying just the body, like was, really big muscles.
Yeah.
And he claimed that it was from like eating raw meat, and, like a caveman kind of deal. And that it was just like, if you followed his routine, you too could have this body. Yeah. And he got a huge following because everyone loves advice like that, where it's like, you can have this without steroids. But it turns out it was steroids.
Turns out, it's what we always-
$11,000 a month in steroids.
Whoa.
That's how much steroids he
Probably
was
has
doing.
teeny tiny testicles.
Ew, and a lot of back knee.
Oh, yeah. You could, I mean, the funny thing is, do steroids give you, I don't know, like, this some sort of like, being like blind to what other people can see with their eyeballs?
Did they make
Like,
you stupid?
Did they make you dumb? Well, probably, because I can see you.
Exactly. We have
Like-
eyes.
There's a very specific look,
Yes.
and we all know this look. Mm-hmm. So,
But this is evidence of what the human brain is willing to accept if they really want to believe it. Confirmation bias. Because even though this guy was not young either. Like, he's our age.
yeah.
And you cannot look like that at our age, or really any age,
Yeah,
unless you're using steroids.
absolutely.
But men don't want to believe that. They want to believe there is a secret. And we, as humans, do this about everything. Beauty,
Yeah.
like whenever
Right.
the women, like J-Lo says it's goddamn olive oil, J-Lo.
Shayla.
It's
And
not olive oil.
IPL photo laser, like photo facials. And come on.
Yeah, and a scalpel, and
Yeah.
a million other ways that rich people sort of circumvent normal aging processes.
Yeah.
So that's all right, but stop telling us it's olive oil and
Come on.
fucking liver.
Right. It's so dumb. It's so... And, like, if it seems too good to be true, guess what? It is. And if
Thank
anybody's trying to say, I have the solution and the recipe or formula, they have the one for them that it has some secret fucking ingredients in it that they're not
Very
telling you about.
expensive.
This is... Yeah, and this is everybody. This is, like, even when, you know, somebody's, like, not doing that and saying all those things, that maybe some of the other things that you don't see in a 1 minute, you know, Instagram video is that they sacrifice time in their social calendar. They get up really early, and so they sacrifice time in here. Like, there are, with everything that is going to be gained, there's going to be something lost, or there's going to be some, like,
Yes.
you want to form a new habit, you got to, like, lose an old one. Come on. This is, like, not...
That is one of my favorite things. I think you said that on Things We Got Wrong recently.
Yeah.
This concept of every single thing involves a choice. Like,
Yes.
maybe you want to get skinny, and
Right.
so you cut out sweets.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you'll get skinny, but you also don't get to eat, you know,
Right.
apple pie a la mode or whatever.
Right.
And so
I'm not
there's-
willing to make that sacrifice.
Yeah. And there's
Right.
always these
you get
choices.
to choose.
Maybe I'm going to stay up late and have a party and text Sarah about silly stuff, but then I'm probably going to be tired the next day.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so obvious, but it's like constant. You really have to
Constant.
pay attention.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the thing that really made it the clearest and easiest to understand was the Power of Habit book.
Yes.
The book, The Power of Habit, it was like how to change habits in your personal life and business life. And it is, when you understand, when you break a habit down, we talk about this in this Things We Got Wrong too, that when you really break it down, it's simple, but we make it complex, and there are habits in everything, and they become locked in, and
You
they're
have to
hard
break the
undo.
loop
Yeah.
in your brain. There's like a loop
Yeah.
that you go through. And he lays it out. It's I would say, one of the most influential books that we've read in book club.
I totally agree.
Because
I can think of like the books that have really changed. Like, it summarizes everything. Like the Habit book, and What Happened to You, and what was the other one? Your Body Keeps the Score.
And
Those
then
are
for
the
me,
ones-
it's the two Auschwitz books, The Choice by Edith Eger and then The Happiest Man Alive, which is this one, because they're all the same message. All of these books have the same core, which is like, here are the things you do. And they're not really glamorous, and they're not, like, you can't pay for them.
Right. Yeah.
You just have
it doesn't
to
come in a
fucking
meal
do
plan.
it. Yeah.
It doesn't come. It is just, you can incorporate those things, but first you need these basic ones, basic lessons.
I mean, this is our final episode for the year 2022, so I guess I do want to ask you, like, what your goals are for 2023.
I have really let go of trying to set the goal of being more grounded, because every time I do, it's a fucking joke. Like, I've lived
Sarah's
more
always
places
optimistic.
since. Yeah, I've lived more places. Like, I was just visiting with my friend Allie. Shout out to Allie. And she was like, hey, can I get your new address? Because I feel like you've moved in with Eli and I have to now update your address again. And she's like, let's play the game of going through what I have in my phone book for you. Like,
Yeah.
and she has all of them. We counted. She had like 8 addresses for me in there. And I was like, wow, that's only like, that's, and she goes, I don't even have the ones from Long Beach. Yeah. And I'm like, oh God. I was like, see, Eli, this is why I need to stay in one place.
Yeah,
I need a home base. So I'm not going to do that at all. I think I am going to, like, this sounds a silly one, but like prioritize like what I want to do. Because I feel
You're
like
not good at that.
No, I'm not. And I know it sounds like because in my mind I'm like, yes, you are. You do what you want to. No, I don't. Not really at all. So I want to like prioritize things that are, and it could even be just like, I after thinking about that TED Talk, I think I talked to you about this, about the different kinds of rest, how we need emotional, social, physical, spiritual rest, all those things. Like I want, this will be my year of rest. Oh, we just figured
rest.
it out.
Oh my gosh.
Year of rest in whatever way that means for me.
Okay.
Eli is going to be like, what the fuck? That's the opposite of what I want to do. But in resting, from some things, I'll get to play and have energy to do other things.
Yeah. Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
I still haven't chosen my theme. I always have a theme, as you know.
Yeah.
I really am having a hard time choosing. Because for a minute, I thought it should be health. Because I really want to prioritize just well-being and like physical health.
Yeah.
But then I thought, that should just be happening anyway.
Yeah.
And so I wanted a theme that was more what I've done in the past, which was something that enriches my life, like music or comedy or art, so that then you're better equipped to give yourself health. So I still have to think of what the theme is, but I'll keep you posted. Maybe on the next, when we come back in the new year, I'll be like, I thought of it.
Yeah. And maybe you could think of something that like inspires health through it. Like
for you, it'd be nature.
Because that's what made me think of it. I was like, growing plants is what came to mind when you like the year of like planting and harvesting or something like that came to mind. Like, so.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted. But it's always fun for me and exciting, and I really get a kick out of choosing it because it always works. I always end up doing the things.
Review some of your past years for like the ones that we've had.
Okay, let me pull it up. I have a spreadsheet.
Oh my gosh, of course she does. Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, 2019 was music. 2020 was comedy.
Comedy.
It was a dark comedy. 2021 was love. And 2022 was art.
Beautiful.
And it ends up being a mishmash of everything anyway. But I still want to come up with a good one because I love them. I love my themes. Yeah,
I think it's so great. We talked about that in our New Year's podcast on This Changes Everything, that, I talked about your theme and how I really think that's a good way to do it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll do a poll because I'll have probably several options and I'll need help choosing.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to the next topic. Let's talk about some curse words.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
I did ask our brainiacs what their favorite swear word was, and like mostly it's the F word.
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course.
they really love that one, and it is a good one.
Yeah.
In the
Because you can use it for everything. It's a positive, it's a negative, it's a
verb.
it's all the things.
Yeah, in the Strange
Fuck
Names
yeah is
documentary.
good. Oh fuck, bad.
Yeah. Yeah, there's endless ways to make it work. I was just going to say that on that documentary, there was a guy with the last name Fuck from Brazil. Do you remember that guy?
No, I don't.
In Brazil, it's pronounced Fuc, and he's like not in Brazil anymore. He's here.
Right. It's like, what do you want me to do? This is my last name. Yeah.
And he, like, at the time he played basketball, and he had to have a lawsuit to be allowed to put it on his jersey, even though it's his name.
Stop.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You know, when you talked about those illegal names we've mentioned in a previous
That's right.
podcast.
Those are first names. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what you do when your last name is a swear
what
in
do
another
you do?
country.
Right. Interesting.
There was an article in the New York Times. It was talking about the study of curse words globally, and the researchers were trying to figure out if there was any theme with the type of letters that are in swear words around the world.
Like hard letters, like the CK, like how it's I always think of Dwight Schrute when he talks about why murder is he's like, murder, it's a hard R. Nobody would believe you if you said you committed muck duck. And I always think of that, and it makes me laugh because he's like, murder, it sounds evil. The hard R is like, Rrr.
It's like that comedian who said, why are we calling it a rapist? It should be raper. Because rapist sounds like florist and like nice things. We should call them rapers.
Yes.
Because of what you're saying.
Yeah.
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 But, so that was sort of their theory, is that like these sort of hard letters like K and, you know, like they would be likely to be in the words. But what they found was that they were characterized by what they lacked. And the letters that they lacked were L, R, believe it or not, W, and Y. And it said that the pretend words, you know how we will modify them to make them family friendly? They tend to have R's more.
Because I was thinking that's whack, which is just what you'd say if you like had a replacement for that's fucked up.
Or, you know, on a Good Place where they say like, what the fork?
Yeah.
Like, or they'll say like,
my goodness,
shirt instead of shit.
This is very interesting.
Yeah.
I love this.
They studied it they actually made up words and asked you to say which of them that you thought was more likely to be a curse word. And so then they analyzed, like, what do people perceive as a curse word if it's in another language?
Yes.
And that's what they found, that it had all these, like, they lacked L's, R's, Y's, and W's.
All my favorite Italian curse words don't have. Oh, merda, that kind of crosses the.
What's that one
mom
again?
would kill. Shit.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What is your favorite swear?
I mean, fuck. That's gotta be.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Which one do you think is the funniest? Because for me, it's definitely jackass. Like, look at this jackass.
Yeah, I think like. Yeah, like sometimes I think crap is the funniest, or ass.
Ass is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Jackass is what you were just like, just a short of that. But ass, like, such an ass.
Yes.
Like, that's funny.
Well, and when I'm really mad at Lincoln, like, and it's usually in the morning when he's taking too long to get ready to get out the door, and I don't like being late. So that's usually what pushes my button. Yeah. I'm like, Lincoln, stop acting like a jackass. But then it makes me laugh. So then it's all for naught. But to call your kid a jackass and then to have them kind of think it's funny, it's pretty great. Anyway, the exception to the global swear theme or letter prevalence was the French language, wherein all their swears still sound very elegant and soft.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
because like a French person's going to like swear at me And I'm going to be like, oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, you say that to all the girls.
Right. You're fantastic too.
Yeah, so their language doesn't fit the model, but overall, around the world,
That is so funny.
those certain letters don't appear in very many swears. So there you go.
I love it.
Language is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah. I watched a video with a little, I posted on my Instagram a while back. It was this little Italian girl who's probably like 2 or 3 years old. 3 years old.
Me,
Yeah. And she has some mom who's like an outspoken feminist and talking about, and she's like, they're just lecturing. Like she is an Italian on like the street corner, just talking about some bullshit she just saw. And she's talking about how like, so what if I wear a mini skirt? Little boy asked me like, what's the mini skirt about? If I want to wear a mini skirt, I can wear a mini skirt. She says, mind your business. And just like the Italian expression of mind your business coming from a 3-year-old was just the funniest thing in the whole world. Italian, it does feel fun when they insult you, it feels like fun.
They have a real way.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. We could all use a little bit more of that, especially women, where it's like, you don't put up with bullshit.
Yeah, you know what? Not such good swear words over here, as colorful as they are. They have good ones where it's you know.
It's probably because we have puritanical roots.
Ugh, once again.
She's mad.
I'm mad.
All right, let's talk about the new movie. I do want to see it. That's coming out with Brendan Fraser, The Whale.
Let's talk about this.
Okay, the fat suit debate.
Yeah.
Okay. So Brendan Fraser, we're all rooting for him. We love that guy. He has been through hell. He was a Me Too survivor. He was groped by one of the heads of the Golden Globes, a fella who was like head honcho of the Golden Globes, groped him, and then he came out in an Esquire article a few years ago, and he suffered tremendously because of that. And my gosh, tip of the hat for him to come forward about that. Anyway, so I feel like people are all rooting for his comeback, and this movie is supposedly that. But there's a lot of debate about the ethics of the fat suit after the old shallow hals of cinema and stuff. And it's like, why are we doing that still? What are your thoughts? Do you have an opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I read something that said when you put somebody in a suit, the character that we're watching is not a representation of a complete person. And that kind of made me think that it didn't... it doesn't really give us an opportunity to know about the experience of somebody who is dealing with obesity like that character was, because we still kind of see Brendan Fraser under there, and in our minds can say, well, he's not really dealing with that. Mm-hmm. And so it said it just doesn't give as rich of a like our mind can't look at that and say, I understand how that person must feel. We can't have the empathy if we recognize that it's in the same way. Mm-hmm. You know?
I can't think of, though, any, and this speaks, I guess, to the problem in a way. I can't think of any actors that are that size naturally that could have played the part instead. Because,
not ones that we see.
Like
and,
big main, sort of A-list or B-list people.
Right. And for that reason.
Yeah.
It
right,
always
so you're saying it's perpetuating the problem.
Yeah, I know that if they looked hard enough, there's somebody who is, like, I go back and forth. I think it who knows? I think it's also, I haven't seen the movie, but people are talking about how amazing Brendan Fraser was in it, and I think that is so important. You know what I was thinking of is, what about the mom in What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Mm-hmm. Her name's Darlene Katz or Cates, and do you know if she wore a fat suit, or
Oh
if
no, I
she...
think she was that size.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
feel like we've used female characters for this.
But she wasn't the lead.
Right.
So if you want your movie to have star power, and there isn't anyone that size,
I see.
you have to choose. I guess it's like we just said.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I think about movies that do cast these folks, like Precious, Gabourey Sidibe,
Yeah.
and Nikki Blonsky from
Yeah.
Hairspray.
Again, women that we...
Yeah,
yeah.
true. Things don't always turn out great for them after.
Right.
So
How they're
there's that
received and how the public
they
talks.
don't
It's...
work again, really.
Oh, that's so messed up.
I mean,
Yeah.
Gabby is still, I think, on Broadway and stuff, but I'm just saying they don't continue on these like Academy
Right.
Award movies.
Yeah.
They have to like.
Is it the
figure
problem
out.
that we're not writing roles for people and like telling these stories? Because again, it's like, what we've done with so many people who have any kind of experience that's not what, we've been used to seeing on camera, is like certain things that get hidden away. And I feel like now we're just now starting to, I say we, writers and people who are making amazing stories about real human experiences are now getting a chance to make them and cast these kind of movies. There's not a lot of characters for that, or a lot of roles in, the Spider-Man franchise for somebody who's dealing with obesity.
Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, like the guy that wrote the screenplay, this is based on his own experience when he was heavier, and he's writing what it was like for him, and he's still getting criticized for sort of having it be a little bit tropey.
And it was his own experience.
Yeah, and so it's sort of like...
that's hard.
Well, that's what
that's
he
why.
lived, and this
Yeah.
is what he feels about it. But people don't like any time it sort of adds to any stereotype, or like that if you're bigger, you can't have a full life, or that you're maybe depressed. That so I feel like there is a sense of like they can't win because he created a role and he made a movie about it.
Yeah.
But then people are
Yeah.
like, but not like that. I don't know.
Right. That's how we, like, again, it's like we just want to, I don't know.
There's a lot of hot takes these days.
Yeah.
No matter
lot.
what. Yeah.
There is.
So
But I think it's I think it's great that people are talking about it. And I think it's great that it maybe will create some sort of change, or maybe because there will be a response to this and the movie industry in some way, whether it's like some side project that gets made that does it differently and doesn't use a fat suit.
I especially hate when people are mad before they've seen it.
Right.
Because that was the article I was reading in the New Yorker, interviewed Aubrey from Maintenance Phase, who also writes books about her experience as a fat person. That's her word. And she is real mad about the film, or like kind of worked up about it. And she hadn't seen it yet. So I don't know. Maybe just having a fat suit is enough for her to feel like this isn't going to work. But it does seem a little premature. I don't know. But what do I know?
Okay.
I'm a skinny white lady.
This is going to be different. Or might be different. I'm sure somebody might say, like, that's a different situation. But what I'm thinking of right now, so I'm watching this new show called Peripheral. It's so good on Amazon. And in it, there's a character who is an amputee as a result of an explosion, and he's in the military, and he lost his legs and his arm. And Eli and I were convinced that it was an actor who really was an amputee.
But it was like Lieutenant Dan or something.
Totally. And I have no idea how they did it, but I was like, that guy has both arms and both legs. I can't believe it, And so we kind of had a similar discussion. Yeah, in a way.
I hear you.
So I'm thinking about how my empathy for that character changed, and how I saw, when they're doing flashbacks or talking about his,
Interesting.
something in me changed
Once
small,
you knew
very
it
tiny,
wasn't
tiny, tiny.
true.
Yeah. And not like I liked him. I can't explain what it was, but I was just aware that I was like, oh, like almost like I devalued his. I mean, he's clearly a great actor because he made me think that, but then also it made me think like, yeah, you're fine. You're gonna be.
Yeah.
It's not that bad, you know. I could.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Like your empathy was not as acute
yes,
then.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes. And I could imagine that it would be the same in watching that. That's kind of what people were talking about. If that you still see the person underneath the suit, and there's still some awareness, so it makes it hard to really have that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Clear,
going to think
empathetic.
about that.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know because that hasn't been my lived experience. So I'm open to it. We've talked about this before, like when Sarah Silverman called it Jew face whenever Gentiles played Jewish characters, or, you know, LGBT characters are portrayed by straight people. It's something to think about. I don't think there's a one right answer,
Right.
but it is nice when you can get somebody who actually is that thing. Whether it's large size or religious affiliation or whatever. I don't know. Something to think about. I just wanted to get your 2 cents, but
Yeah.
we can wind it down if you wish.
Good talks.
Yeah.
Last episode of 2022. 2023. Here we come.
I don't want to say I'm optimistic, but I kind of am.
I'll let you. I'm going to just...
Yeah,
I'm doing
you zip it.
everything different. Because when I changed everything about how I was dating and everything about how I am with my partner, I got a great one who's fantastic and is everything I ever wanted. And so...
Don't
just do the
fuck this
opposite.
up.
So I'm going to like not set any goals. I'm going to be like, I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be all around. I'm going to be doing everything. Whatevs. No goals.
But maybe
We'll
a
see.
little rest.
But maybe a little rest.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to another year. I feel blessed and happy. I love you very much.
Love you very much.
I love our listeners very much. I feel truly blessed to have our audience and our, brainiacs in our life.
Yes.
I'm a lucky lady.
Susie and I often get teary-eyed talking, and we're, like, not kidding.
No.
Well, obviously, I cry, but Susie's crying right there with me. We get all misty when we talk about this amazing community and the wonderful, wonderful people who listen, and we just love you guys so much, and you guys are all so supportive of each other. It's really beautiful. They're
on Discord now. You can find a Brain Candy Discord, and that's been real fun. I'm enjoying that. But anyway, thank you for everyone.
I don't know what Discord is, so if you're like
I'll
me,
teach you.
I'll see you on Instagram. Yeah. So.
But thank you for everyone who uses our codes, who is a patron, who buys our merch. All of that is how we are able to do this show. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, whatever. All the happy.
All the happies.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.